Local recording now. Sweet. Let's do this. Oh, I turned off my Brood War sounds. That's a problem. Spend all that time making sure I can have Brood War sounds, and then I turn them off. There we go. Ooh, there we go. Alright. There's no first replay. Oh, wait. Meh. Alright. I'm getting confirmation I should just go for it. Sweet. That's what I was going to do anyway. This is Twitch TV Gambit Cup. Excuse me. Twitch TV Gambit Cup Week 3, Day 1. I'm Hacklebeast, and today I will be casting Reps versus DM. Before I begin, shout out to the sponsors. Twitch TV. If you're watching this on Twitch TV, unless you're watching VODs, but they're great people for esports. Also, shout outs to the two individual sponsors, Nervopolis and Prowler. Let's get these games started. Boom. So, we have Plumum versus Dragon. Now, this is not Canadian Dragon, I'm pretty sure. Because there are two dragons. One is from Canada and one is from Chile. But, but the LRM dragon has been indisposed for a few weeks. And Plum is orange. And dragon is white. Boom, alright. So, PvZ on Icarus. Pretty standard map for PvZ. Some funny things can happen with the third, just because there's such a long choke going to the third. And by long I don't mean narrow, or I don't mean wide, but you can put it contain here, or contain here, or contain here, or back at the ramp. So there's some weird army positioning you could do on this map, where even after you lose a base as either Protoss or Zerg, you can come in with the main force of your army and surround whatever force attacked it, and most likely eliminate it, or if not, throw down a lurk contain and prevent it from moving out, so that your main force can go and attack elsewhere. Other than that, though, nothing too spectacular about this map that separates it from many other 4-player maps. The distances in between the bases are a little bit closer because it's not in the corners. It's in the center of each side of the square. So if you think about it, it's kind of like they're in the corners of a much smaller square. Anyway, excuse me. Plumum went for an overpull. What's an overpull, right? Yeah, that's an overpull. He's going to throw down the pretty fast command center. He's going to try to, but Dragon's going to stop him. He's sending another drone. He is in fact sending another drone. And just switch those two right out. Now the probe can't just straight up attack, but has to try to micro around, and it's still doing a pretty good job. You might need to bring another one? No, because the Zerglings are coming out. Well, that drone has delayed it 100 minerals worth, so effective job by Dragon. Hatchery does get thrown down eventually, and the Zerglings are going to deny the probe getting into the base. You can tell by the timing of the hatchery that an overpull happened, so he doesn't really need to get the probe into the base. It's not completely necessary, but always a good thing when you can. Dragon's going to have his cannons down with more than enough time. Very nice wall. And I think the Nexus here, there's enough space for a goon up top. So that's a very nice wall. Even going to pull some safety probes just to be sure. Plumum hasn't actually found his opponent yet, so his Zergling is going to be extremely late, making any run-by opportunities pretty much gone. Plumum's going to throw down the very fast third hatchery. A good move. And he's going to be able to take a very fast fourth hatchery whenever he so desires. And that's something a little bit nice about this map for Zerg, that that your natural and then the second natural that you eventually take are pretty close together by ground distance. So with some fast-moving Zerglings and even Hydralisks to some extent, you can defend both of them rather effectively. But it's not too close where the Protoss can take out one and then immediately take out another one. Because there's some bases where when you take a third, it's just right there for the Protoss to take them out all in one big line. Which is not what you want as Zerg. Nope, just count. Anyway, Dragon going up for the lair. Only has one gas right now, so not looking like much Mutalisk play. Probably just doing it for the Scourge. Dragon Cybercore. Is that a little bit late? No. I don't think that's late. I think just Fulham had a particularly fast lair. Did he get speed? Oh yeah, he got speed a little bit late, in fact after the lair. So that's why the lair's fast. Dragon's going to send out another scouting probe. 2 Zerglings on the ramp should be able to stop that. I'm fairly sure that's probe type. He could fit 3 Lings on the ramp and then have it be super probe type, but 2 is going to be enough. Probe hasn't scouted out here, but should be able to figure it out based on the low number of Zerglings. The only other option would be Plumum's going through some two-base tech build, but rather unlikely. And Dragon going with the standard stuff himself. Stargate Citadel at the same time. +1 should be starting once he gets 100 gas. There we go. Alright, he's going to have a nice little timing attack ready to go in about 3-4 minutes. Anyway, speed finish for the Zerglings. Going to be able to chase down that probe very easily. And now here comes the Spire. He's also throwing down a 4th hatchery, so the Hydralisk Den should be coming soon. Is that it, or is that a 5th hatchery? It is in fact a 5th hatchery, alright. The Hydralisk Den will probably be placed at one of the 2 naturals to help with the SimCity. And the first Corsair... Ooh, is he not making Corsairs? He doesn't actually have money for it right now. But now he does. Okay, there we go. Making the first Corsair. It didn't quite have enough gas to make the first Corsair when the Stargate popped. It's fine. There is the Hydralisk Den. And in fact, Plumum is only making a pair of Scourge. Oh. He's making a single Mutalisk. Now, that could be because he's starting to amass Mutalisk very slowly, but I'm thinking it's more likely just a little bit of a diversion to try to bait Dragon into making too many Corsairs, possibly. Because he really doesn't have the gas to do Mutalisk production. And, I mean, there are 2 cannons down the middle of the line. That's enough to handle 7 Mutalisks. But the Corsair is going to skip killing that Overlord so that it can just be sure to get a scout off in Plumum's base. Little advantage Plumum gains by being so aggressive against the scouting probes that he's going to force Dragon to use his first, presumably waste his first Corsair, just scouting the main to make sure that nothing funky was going on, instead of killing Overlords, and then immediately have it die to Scourge. Anyway, 3 cannons. A little bit defensive from Dragon. Most Protosses only go for 1 or 2, but at least until they see more Mutalisk numbers. But he might just be doing it preemptively because Plumum built 2 Mutalisks, so he's continuing to build more Mutalisks. Doesn't look like it. Well, the Mutalisk play might work out for Plumum because he's going to be able to harass some speed zealots with him, and +1 should be finishing just now. He actually Dragon's up the gun just a little bit with that. How close is +1? Yep, just a little bit longer. By building those Mutalisks, it forced Dragon to build extra cannons, I think. So the Mutalisk might have worked out in Plumum's favor, just playing a little bit of mind games there. And it's a very interesting Mutalisk in the way he's adding Mutalisks. It's just like one at a time. So now he's up to 3 because he's been pretty good to keep him away from the Corsairs. And the Scourge. No, Scourge cannot find the Corsairs. Doesn't actually lose any of the Scourge, but still is having a lot of trouble actually killing these Corsairs. They're going to need to pull back to avoid those cannons. And how many die? 5 Scourge hit off of 3 Corsairs, and the Mutalisks are easily able to take down the last one. And now actually these Mutalisks are going to be able to snipe this High Templar because there are no cannons up here. That's actually a really dangerous position. Dragon's going for a counterattack of his own, but that's a pretty solid SimCity, and Plumham even threw down additional trophy colonies. The bare minimums too, but he's going to play a little extra cautiously, throw down 3. And these Mutalisks managed to pick off 1 High Templar, and do damage on the other one. But picking off that 1 High Templar really just makes the Mutalisk worth it. If you can force the Protoss to continuously build High Templar and not allow them to build up energy, you're going to be in a great position. And this is actually looking rather susceptible to a Hydra Bust right now, because there are Zealots not near home, and only 1 High Templar who just now has enough energy for a Storm. Storm still has a bit of a ways to go. If Plumham was going for if Plumham is going for a little bit of a later Hydralisk Bust, this is a very interesting transition to, a stepping stone to get to that. These Mutalisks are forcing a lot of cannons in bad places for Hydra Busts, and sniping High Templar, probably forcing more Corsairs than Dragon was originally planning on it. Interesting, I like it. Hydralisk is stuck. I wonder if I can get out once the eggs pop. Anyway, he is starting to get a pretty scary number of Hydralisks. It looks like there will not be Lurkers added to this army, just the pure Hydralisks. And are they moving out now? Does he still need more upgrades for them, or are they done? Range is about halfway done. Speed is done for them. So once that range finishes, they're going to be looking rather fearsome. And in fact, Dragon's army is outside of his SimCity. I don't think that's quite enough stuff to deal with the Hydralisk numbers if they are microed against the Zealots properly, and especially if they split up like that. So I think that with some good micro here, Plumham could put some real pressure on Dragon. Let's see, Dragoon range is done? Can't click on it. No, Dragoon range is not quite done. Not that it makes terribly big difference in the Dragoon versus Hydralisk battle. Anyway, almost pick off the Archon. Not quite. Archon just gets out of there. Now, look, these Mutalisks are going to continue to harass these Zealots, and there's only 1 Archon there as the only anti-air. The Dragoons do not come with them, and just with that small number of, Mutalisks, it's really causing Dragon to do a lot of stuff that he doesn't really want to deal with. And now there's a huge number of Hydralisks. There's nowhere near enough Zealots, so the Archon doesn't come until all the Zealots die anyway. And now Dragon has a few Dragoons and 1 Templar to defend against a huge Hydralisk force. This is a really scary position for Plumham. Looks like Dragon's going to be able to pick off a few free Overlords. No kills so far, but probably going to be, well, not quite. These Hydralisks do get there in time, and Dragon's going to actually lose a core. Nope, 1 hit away from losing a Corsair. Although Plumham is leaving a lot of Overlords in the middle of the map. It's pretty dangerous for Dragon to go out and get them, just bringing the Dragoons so far away from the cannons that he wouldn't be able to run back in time. But if he's able to pick off those 3 Overlords, actually wouldn't matter at all. He's 114 out of 200. Plumham's not going to be supply blocked probably this entire game. Anyway, and now we see all over the minimap the Zerg is swarming in, and Overlord speed is done. They're starting to get there seems to be a rather large number of Overlords down here, especially considering we haven't seen any Dark Templar yet. I'm thinking maybe he's going for, well, if he has drop, he already researched it. There's enough that a drop is possible. Anyway, let's see how the storms go. Oh, very nice storms from Dragon, and Plumham barely dodges at all. But it's looking like almost a pure Dragoon force. Templar Dragoon Dragoons aren't horrible versus Hydralisks, but they are horrible versus Zerglings. So if Plumum transitions into Zerglings, which he's going up to Hive Tech, so I assume he'll have Defilers in the semi-near future. I'm just looking for where the Defiler Mound is going down. Once he gets Defiler Zerglings, that entire army, almost that entire army, is going to be worthless. He's going to take some amazing storms to stop it. But for now, with some beautiful storm play from only 2 Templar, he has managed to stop Plumum's initial attack, and Plumum's forced to retreat a little bit. And now Dragon has an opportunity to take out some of these Overlords. Meanwhile, Dragon is trying to set up a 3rd base in the corner. It looks like he's going to be able to pretty safely do it. They're setting some Zerglings up here, but they're not. I don't. 0 Zerglings without the Adrenal Glands. I don't think they're going to quite be able to take anything out. Oh, the Adrenal Glands just popped. But the expansion is safe. Plumum's now taking 2 bases at the same time, so he'll be going up to 6 if he can hold on to both of them. Shooting at some Overlords. An Ultralisk Cavern first. Is there Lurkers? But no Defiler Mount. He's using all of his gas to go for Ultralisks and Defilers. Now, if Dragon continues Dragoon production, he could get into a really favorable position. Because Dragoons are pretty good versus Ultralisks when the Ultralisks are alone. And Dragoons are pretty good versus Lurkers. So if Plumum's using all of his gas into those 2 units and not into Defilers, a pure Dragoon army could do a lot of damage. In the meantime, the Hydralisk force is not going to be anywhere close to put a dent into this. So he really needs to pull back and not lose his force here. He's going for it with a bigger force from up there. Oh, and a nice surround. I think he was waiting to pull the trigger to bait the Protoss into coming too far. And this is what I mean. He didn't have to spend that much money to build a bunch of 0 cracklings, and there's nothing that Dragon can do against that. He's just going to be forced to pull back, and he lost a lot in the process. He does have another huge army coming up, but it's still a very heavy concentration of Dragoons. And he's going to try to attack this base, but he sent his Zerglings in piecemeal, so he's not going to be able to quite get it down, although he will have an opportunity to try to go for another attack before Reavers finish. Where is the support bay? I don't see a support bay. There is a shuttle, possibly for some storm drops, most likely. But no Robo bay quite yet. In the meantime, there are a lot of Overlords that are being used. Plumum's being very aggressive with his Overlords. I guess he really just does not want to lose to Dark Templar. And Plumum taking yet another base of 7 bases so far. He's not even populating these 3. He's just going for the gas on all of them, so he's going to go for some crazy gas-heavy army off of 7 gases. And here come the Ultralisks. He's used up most of his army, and here's the drop. Okay, so he didn't have drop before, but all these Overlords that are being placed around the map will be able to do a little bit of drop action. There's the robotics support facility. Going to build some Reavers here. This is going to be very hard to take down without Defiler support. And I'm still looking for the Defiler Mound. I assume he'll throw it down relatively soon after getting so many gases up. So he just has enough gas to get Defilers anyway, even with going for heavy Ultra Lurker. But it looks like, oh no! Oh, he transferred the probes through Lurkers, and it looks like they were a little bit piecemeal. So he didn't get that many probes, but still, a little bit of a lapse in attention for Dragon there. It's going to cost him about 5 probes. Oh, they do have the armor upgrade done. Crackling Ultra versus Goons. I guess it's really going to come down to these storms, because the Ultralisks aren't terribly scary in this army. It's really going to be the Zerglings, and if he can storm a good portion of the Zerglings before the battle begins, then I think Dragon can easily take it. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty close. 4 Templar up now. That's 1 storm, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 storms total. That is a lot of Zerglings. We'll see. Continuing to get more armor upgrades. It's good. Now getting speed for the Ultra. Speed is not done yet, and I'm still looking for the Defiler mount. He has so much gas right now. I don't see the dropship. so I don't know how that zealot got in there. Alright. What I'm trying to say is, look, he has so much gas right now that I'm really expecting him to throw down the Defiler Mound. I mean, you get all these gases. Okay, he didn't get the gas here, but you have 6 gases running. You do it for Scourge, I guess. I really thought he was doing it to get a really strong Defiler Ultra composition. But so far he's just using it on lots of Ultralisk and a healthy number of Scourge. I haven't seen Dragon's Corsair fleet around. But that is a lot of Ultraling. And is he going to engage, or is Fulton just going to try to retreat? He is going to retreat. It's going to cost him just a couple of Zerglings. Where's that lurker? Ah, there it is. Just being annoying. You know what? Fulton really doesn't have to attack. He can just keep a very strong army here and really try to pin back Dragon, because Fulton's on 7 bases. 7 base Zerg is pretty dang good if your opponent decides that they don't want to have to deal with it. Ooh. A nice control group of Zerglings there and a very nice backstab position. Remember that he did research drop, so he could drop just 12 Zerglings into the main just to mess with Dragon a little bit. But it looks like Dragon's adding a Reaver, 2 Reavers with a shuttle. Going to be able to take out a lot of the sunken colonies. But it's going to take a little bit of time to do. Will he go for the attack from behind? If he does go for the attack from behind, the Reavers are in a perfect position for that. Because he's going for it. Plum's going to have to fight through all this before he gets back to the Reavers. And the Templar aren't storming. Oh no, the Templar, they need to storm. There we go. There we go. Oh, so much blood. So much blood. 19 kills and 19 kills each on those. Oh dear. And that was just a perfect frontal for 2 storms to kill all of the Zerglings. Fulton didn't exactly lose a lot. He didn't exactly lose a lot of his Ultralisk, so he can replenish it rather quickly, but it's going to take away his offensive capabilities for a little while he replenishes. In the meantime, he did drop his 3rd base now, and kills off a couple probes. A pretty good pull from Dragon to not lose too many. There's a Reaver out, so he will be able to eventually take him out. And Lurkers are pretty bad versus buildings. The Reaver might even be able to kill off the Lurkers before the drop. But here comes another drop? No, these are all empty. He's going for a fake drop? No. There was a Lurker. Well, it did pick up 6 kills. Alright, interesting. Oh no! Oh no! Overlord genocide! So many Overlords died. He still has 200 supply despite the fact that all those Overlords died. Anyway, no, looks like the Zerglings killed off a Dragoon and a Templar. Definitely worth it. So despite losing the space, Pullum's still on 6 okayly saturated. Well, let's see. Okay, those 2 are out. So he's really on 4 bases. Ah, there's the Defiler Mount. Now we're researching Consume. And both these extractors are depleted? Yes, they are. So Pullum actually doesn't have that much money. He has 4 mining bases. He has 4 mining bases. And they aren't terribly saturated at the moment. Oh, Suicidal Templar. Anyway, it looks like Pullum's just going to ignore... I think he's just consolidating forces and he's going to go for an attack on the main. Dragon's forces are really out of position. They're trying to secure this Expo over here, and it's going to take a little while to throw down enough cannons and possibly a couple of Reavers. And Pullum's just going to go for it. Dragon hasn't pulled his forces yet. They're still sitting there. And it looks like, well, they're getting blitzed. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not attacking what they should be attacking. There's a Templar. Oh, the GT finally dies. They're the Overlords. But it looked like he lost all the Zerglings because the units were glitching out and they couldn't get past the SimCity. So these Ultralisks also going to come in, but they're about to be surrounded, and I think he's going to lose all of his Ultralisks. Oh, that's bad when you lose all your Ultralisks like that. There still are a good number of them, but they don't have the Zergling support, so they won't be able to do that much damage before dying. And that Reaver's especially going to be able to take them out rather quickly. Now, what will he do with this force? He could theoretically load it up and try to retreat with it, but, oh, he's not quite controlling this right. He's sending in Ultralisks two at a time, and didn't bring the Zerglings at all. Looks like Zerglings from behind now, but they got there too late. So it looks like Plumum lost his entire army. He's down to 146 supply, but Dragon is only at 74. Oh no! Dragon really hasn't been able to replenish because he lost this expo, and this is his only mining right now. So Plumum, despite that attack not working out so well for him, it didn't really need to. He could just afford to trade away all of his army for half of his opponents, and it's still going to be an okay trade. And I should turn that off. I was watching Sales Stream on mute, and I forgot to close it, so that was one of his ads. I wasn't watching it while casting. I had it up before the cast started, and I just forgot about it. Anyway, Plague just finished for Plumum. Where are the Defilers, though? Making more Lurkers. I don't know where Defilers are. Anyway. So Dragon has some issues. He has this base seemingly defended, but he actually can't keep the Nexus up because of drops are just too strong from right here. So he's really just down to this base, and he doesn't exactly have a lot to defend it. It's not going to stand up to that. I don't think there's anything that Dragon can do in this situation. So much gas, man. That's just he's gonna lose his entire army and then just go, oh, 10 more Ultralisks. It's back. Now 13 more Ultralisks, and he has the hatcheries to do it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hatcheries. So 30 larvae saved up. Anyway, it looks like they're going to go for it now. He's going to lose a lot of Zerglings trying to get through this, but it does not matter in the least. DPs are actually very good with Ultralisks because their super high attack effectively negates the Ultralisk's armor, as opposed to the Zealots, which take the Ultralisk armor twice. Looks like the Overlords weren't quite in range. Oh, but it doesn't matter. There were Lurkers from behind. The Dragon has a small force out here, high Archon count, but it just doesn't matter. He actually really can't afford to lose an Archon and a Dragoon in this attack. Oh, he just loses the Dragoon. Alright, well, he is going to be able to shut down this base pretty easily. But Plumum's just going to go in, and I think Dragon's going to lose his main here. Won't probably, unless this Reaver just does magical things. Well, I got 16 kills. Nope. Too many Ultralisks, and he still has enough money to build 20 more. And this base still doesn't have a Nexus. This base is continually being harassed by Lurkers, and ooh, it almost died. And Dragon GG's. Plumum looking very strong, taking game number 1 for Team Reps. I forgot to get rid of that overlay. Darn. Oh well. What are you gonna do? Alright. Game number 2. we have Reps DeWalt, right? Yep, Reps DeWalt versus DM Brakes. I'm not familiar with Brakes. Is that how you... No, they're both lower 60. Brakes. Alright, and Brakes is orange. And DeWalt is yellow. Alright. So yet another PVZ. This time on Heartbreak Ridge. Heartbreak Ridge is such a weird map. Weird in a good way. Not weird as in like a Monty Hall, all nothing you know about StarCraft applies anymore way weird, but in a you can do a lot of funky stuff, and it kind of works on this map. But you can also do a lot of standard stuff, and it still works. Anyway, DeWalt is a very solid Protoss player. Loves his 2-base, but is certainly capable of playing a long game if he so chooses. And as I said before, I'm not familiar with who Brakes is, and I've cast a few DM's games. I'm pretty sure this is the first time they've used Brakes. So, interested to see what he can do. He or she, theoretically, could be a girl. Probably not, but... Anyway, DeWalt's just going to go in for the scout. Actually, Brakes isn't going for the fast hatchery, so DeWalt made the right decision by not trying to block. I think Brakes is looking to fake him out a little bit, but Brakes going for an overpull, so he's not going to get the drone there for a little while longer. Ooh, sneaky drone, taking a break. There we go. It's like the start of the game. Why does he already need a break? Oh, those lazy drones. Whoa, wait, what? I think I read that wrong, because I thought it said like 900 for a second. And I was like, what? How does he have 900 APM? I'm not even sure it's possible to spam 900 APM, and it's like 2 minutes into the game already. Anyway, Brakes gets his hatchery down. A little bit of a miscontrol from DeWalt. And the probe should be taken out by these Zerglings. Brakes is going to go for it with 5 of them. Excuse me. DeWalt is throwing down 2 cannons. They will both finish by the time the Zerglings get there, if they were going there, but they're not. Although he did leave a nice big open gap for Zerglings to run through, if they had gone. In fact, there's like... Oh, okay, if you put the gateway up a little bit, so there's like an extra little gap of nothingness here, I'm pretty sure that's tight. You won't be able to get your Dragoons out, but once you kill the gateway, you'll be able to get out all your units very easily. So, oh, he's gonna put the gateway over there. Oh, right. Gateway overforge, not underforge. I'm not sure what he's gonna put here, because that's a huge gap in the wall. Anyway, Brakes thrown down his 3rd hatchery, so far, same build we saw last game, different Zerg. And Brakes, I really think Brakes could go for a run by if he wanted to. Probably only lose 3 lings. I think he'd only lose 3. In fact, if he brought... He might be trying... No, never mind. I was going to say he's trying to bring the Overlord to soak up a little bit of cannon fire and then run the lings through. But it doesn't look like he's doing that either. Anyway, DeWalt's kept his Scouting Probe alive so far, very good. Brakes going for the fast layer, and then getting speed. I actually can't remember which is standard now. It might be normal, you just get the layer before speed. It looks like he's not even going to fill it. He's going to leave a huge gap. I mean, yes, you can get your units out very easily, but I don't know, it's like almost defeats the purpose of having a wall. And I was so sick by breaks, he made like a perfect half circle around the Zealot, but didn't have enough to stop the Zealot from just getting around it. But that looked cool for a second. Anyway, DeWalt throw down a Stargate and a Citadel, so he'll be doing standard stuff as well. Break should have his Spire. Yep, Spire just on the way now. Well, Break isn't adding Zergling, so I guess the wall's going to work out for DeWalt, because this wall will be effective in the late game. And I think he can. Making a wall like this makes it so that it's going to be very easy. I think it's going to be very easy to add a lot of cannon if he needs to defend a Hydra bust. Ooh, he's adding a gateway in his natural. You don't see that much from Protosses, but he has a lot of room in there. Huh. Anyway, I think that if he needs to throw down a lot of cannons to try to defend a Hydra bust from Break, he'll have a lot of room to do it. So I think this wall will work out since he didn't have to deal with speedling pressure. Anyway, first Corsair is going to attack some Overlords. Where are the first set of Scourge? Oh, Spire just finishing now. So, looks like he'll lose one Overlord, possibly two before the Scourge get out, depending on how fast that Corsair can find that Overlord. Looks like pretty darn quickly. Nope, just misses it. A shame. And here comes the Scourge. Breaks should probably... No? Oh. The Scourge were not following those Corsairs. They just, they look like they were, but... Okay, here they come back. And not going to quite... Actually, those Scourge might be able to hit that Corsair. Nope. Maybe gonna get one hit off. Not quite. Anyway, leg speed is now finished. +1 has a little ways to go, and the Templar Archive has been finished. So, looking to see if he goes for the really fast Storm or if he's building a Dark Templar. And, 2 more gateways. Anyway, it looks like the Zealots are going to move out now. +1 just finishing, so these Zerglings will do no damage at all. Okay, he will be going for Dark Templar first. And looks like his Sin City is good enough to stand up to the Zealots. Shouldn't have to worry about a run-by. I think he's pretty run-by proof. Well, he only does have one sunken up. Nah, he'll be fine. This base is a little bit less defended, though, and that sunk is not even in a good position for when it pops. So DeWalt might be able to do a little bit of damage here, but looks like Break is just going to bring his army. Making sure that not going to lose to any kind of silly Zealot aggression at this point in the game. And DeWalt's actually going to get surrounded. He's going to lose all of his Zealots? Well, he's going to have 2 left, one almost dead. Ooh. Alright, that Overlord saw the 2 Templar, so Breaks knows that they're coming. There are a lot of Corsairs, and his +1 should be just about done now. Indeed, it is almost done, so he will be pretty scary with those Corsairs. Is Breaks building Spores? Breaks is not building Spores, so he needs to be a little bit careful here, worrying about these DTs, especially at this base. Okay, the Spore colony is now going down there. And probably here as well. Excuse me, once again. And looks like he has enough Hydralisks. He doesn't need to really worry about that. Meanwhile, Protoss player getting the Robo, very good. Storm is on the way. Storm is almost done, in fact. And how many High Templar? 3 at this point. Okay, good healthy High Templar number, in fact. And Breaks has a little bit of an army. It's probably going to be able to take out this expansion if he scouts it, which looks like this Zergling is going to be doing. The Nexus hasn't been thrown down yet, but he'll at least be able to prevent it. In the meantime, a lot of Corsairs still. And he's almost getting up to the Corsair numbers that he can start to ignore a couple Hydralisks or a Spore colony because he can kill Overlord so fast. So Breaks is going to have to be even more careful keeping his Overlords alive. He did get speed done, so that will help, but that's a lot of +1 Corsairs. And oh, those Overlords are not near that Spore colony, and they instead retreat back that way. And apparently they were already damaged, because those died really fast. Although it does look like they can kill them with 8 shots, and 8 Corsair shots are very quick. Anyway, not sure what they're doing on that side of the map. Looks like Dewalt's going to go for a little bit of an attack on zone. Observatory's already up. He shouldn't need that for a while, because Breaks can go for any early lurkers. And that's actually a pretty scary army. It's going to be hard for Breaks to engage it anywhere in the middle of the map, just because those Corsairs can kill Overlords so fast. And with a couple of nice storms, I think the Breaks would be in a bit of trouble here. Here comes the first storm, a very nice storm dodge by Breaks. Even picks off the Templar. Second storm, still pretty good, avoiding taking too much damage. There are a lot of Templar, though. And now the storms are starting to do damage. Lurkers are now morphing. And that's just too much stuff. He really needs to get some... Whoa, that is some nice storm coverage! Oh, everything's going down. A really nice play. He is going to lose his army, but he killed a lot with those storms. It's just Zerg had just a little bit too much. That was nice storms, though. Alright. Anyway, throwing out a lot more cannons over at this base. I don't think it's actually going to stop this force, though. We'll kill a bunch of them. It'll be close, but I still think Breaks has it. Oh, is he going to go in before they finish? Oh, he might actually go in before they finish. That would help. Lurkers, a very nice position to do maximum damage. And wow, those cannons went down fast. And the Templars are actually not storming the Lurkers, they're storming the Hydralisks. So it's going to take him a really long time to try to clear through just these 3 Lurkers, so the Dragoon's going to have to bunch up. And the Nexus will go down. Ooh, these minerals have been mined out. Oh, we're just not going to go that way. Oh, that would have been pretty cool. Lurkers, he could put Lurkers right there. But no. Looks like he's just going to go for the front contain. Probably doesn't realize that the minerals are mined out. He didn't actually go that far back. Oh, Break has now separated Dewalt's main army from his base. But it looks like he's accidentally losing a lot of his units to cannons. And now there's probably enough Dragoons just to muscle through that number of Hydralisks. Here come more Zerglings, though, to attack an almost pure Goon force. It's not quite enough Zerglings, but it might be able to do some damage, especially if he's able to snipe the Templar. But nope, he's just going to pull back. He didn't want to engage like that. More Zerglings back here. He's already thrown down his 4th base, and Hive Tech is in fact on the way. And actually, this is going to do a lot of damage, because he's preventing Dewalt from being able to safely expo there from a while, and that army is not big enough to do any pressure. So he needs to try to link up these 2 armies. It looks like he's going to go for a 2-pronged attack at some point here. But he needs to be careful that he doesn't get attacked himself from behind. And it looks like he is going to go for it with Breaks not in position to reinforce. He's just going to pull out. He's actually going to get only 4 Hydralisks out of there. But now Dewalt is all linked up, and he has a very scary army with 4 observers. He's really going to see those Lurkers. And Breaks doesn't exactly have that much. It's a 109 supply compared to 124, but a lot of that 116 supply is in drones at the moment. He's very saturated for a Zerg. Alright. I think lurkers on the high ground might just be enough to slow down DeWalt's force. And what kind of hive tech is he going for? Hive should be done by now. Indeed it is. He will be going for a Defiler Mound first, and that is a lot of Dragoons to have to deal with a Defiler Mount. How close is Crack to being done? Crack is about halfway done now. So if Breaks could just hold off his attack for about another 30 seconds, he'd be in a great position. But it looks like DeWalt's going to attack at the perfect timing, pre-Crack. And no, it looks like DeWalt is going to back up. Even without Crack, that many Zerglings is something very hard to deal with. And oh, those two High Templar could have been sniped. Very close to being. And it looks like they're just going to play footsies a little bit. There are a lot of storms going off. And DeWalt's not actually losing a lot of stuff, but he has pretty much used up all of his storms, right? Yes, only 2 Templar left. He has used up all of his storms. And I think he didn't want to engage there. He just wanted to use as many storms as possible and then back off. Crack should be finished just about now. Indeed, it is done. Defiler Mound is done, with Consume being about halfway. And I'm going to take out the few lurkers that remains here. Break's army isn't in a terribly good position to defend either the 4th or the 5th. So DeWalt could try to attack those 2 bases. He has, in the meantime, set up his 3rd. Got the Nexus back up and a lot of the cannons down. He's going in for an attack now. Break's army kind of has to fight the hatcheries to get into position. He does have a lot of lurkers there. He did a good job spacing them out. I think he can only hit 2 per storm. But DeWalt's army isn't actually attacking. And he's sending in all the Zealots, and those lurkers are going to do a lot of damage. The Dragoons should theoretically be able to defeat the lurkers, but he was having a lot of pathfinding issues, or he wasn't moving them in or something. So the Zealots are all going to die, and now he has a pure Goon army, pure Goon Templar army. Where are the Defilers? There's one. And here comes the first swarm down, and there might not be enough Zealots to deal with it. And yet another swarm goes down, and some storms are going to kill a lot of the Zerglings, but there just might be too many. It looks like these units are going to get cornered here, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to save them. He does have a lot of storms. He's not placing the storms quite correctly to kill off all the lurkers. And the Crack has been finished for a while, as I said. Looks like they will be able to take out this base, but I'm not sure they'll be able to get back out once they do. Is he going to be able to snipe that Templar? No, not going to snipe that Templar. Or Archon, I mean. The issue that Breaks has right now is that he's at Hive Tech with only 3 gas, 2 of which should be almost depleted by this point. Yes, that one, actually his natural has still a little bit more to go, but his main's essentially gone. So he's not going to be able to build too many Defilers or Lurkers, and certainly not take up the Ultralisk anytime soon. He really needs to do some damage with these Defilers when they're being so strong. But he's having a little bit of a trouble dealing with this force at the moment. And is DeWalt just... I'm not sure what DeWalt's trying to do. I think that's just a little bit of a misclick. And it will cost him these forces, in fact. Break's going to go for it. And he's going to lose a lot to a storm. But, so... Actually, DeWalt survives for a little while longer. I mean, he only has 3 Dragoons. There's a lot of kills, though. 14, 6, 7. And 10 on the Templar. But eventually he'll get enough Zerglings to just overrun that. And there they are. And Breaks really does need to take out this force. This force is doing a really good job of preventing Breaks from expanding down here anytime soon. Because Breaks really needs to take that Expo rather quickly here. DeWalt is safely on 3 bases, is starting to set up a 4th here, but that's rather exposed. I don't know how well he'll be able to defend it. He does have a big presence here, but It's very susceptible to Zergling attacks from either side. Meanwhile, where is the drone? I should be trying to set up that base. Ah, there it is. He doesn't have enough money to throw on that hatchery now. 150 supply compared to 130, so pretty close. Meantime, how good has Protoss done about their upgrades? 2-0 compared to 1-2. Okay. And 1-2-1 or 1-2-2, 2-1-2. I don't know whether you're supposed to say the melee upgrade or the range upgrade first. That's a lot of Zerglings. DeWalt has done a better job of getting more speed locks into his army, and those will help. But it's going to come down a lot to how well he can storm. 2 storms, 1 storm, 1 storm, 1 storm. Although by the time, if the engagement happens relatively soon, he should be able to get 2 on the 2 of those Templar. Yes, they're about 130 energy. Nope, these Zerglings are not going to try to snipe off random units. They're just going to take out Expos. That Expo's going to be going down pretty quickly. Because of the pile, I'm going to lose the probe. Uh-oh. Where's the Overlord? Oh, I left the Overlord here. He's fine. He's fine. Brake's just kind of poking around with a bunch of units. Sent these Zerglings up here. He's poking around with these guys. I'm not really sure what his game plan is at this point, but looks like DeWalt is looking like he wants to try to end it. Ultralists are out, only 2 at the moment. Does he have upgrades for him? Yes, he did get the upgrades for him. Speed? Can't tell, he's not moving them. Meanwhile, that little poking force looks like it's going to be able to take out this Expo. And as I said, this Expo is rather undefended. Because you can't, DeWalt can't devote that entire army just to defend this Expo from such a little force. So the Nexus does go down, and more than half the probes. And actually, it looks like Brakes can get a pretty favorable engagement here. Now, the speed lots are enough to deal with the Zerglings, even though they don't have the attack advantage over them. The Hydralisks do manage to get out of there alive, though. Might have been able to set that Templar, but it gets a Storm off, kills with 3 more Hydralisks. And here, it looks like Brakes is ready to make his move. He's amassing a lot of Ultra Lurkerling with a single Defiler at the moment. Consume is done, so that's not an issue with that many Zerglings. He does have a lot of more Zerglings back here. Speed is not done for the Ultralists. Speed is just, in fact, just started. This Expo is looking rather secure. Going to throw down a couple of defensive colonies. And it doesn't look like DeWalt's army is quite big enough to deal with a 200 Zerg army. And here it comes. The one issue that Brake has is that he doesn't have a lot of Defilers. He only has 1, and it looks like it died. So he's going to have to deal with the Protoss of full bear, and the Protoss has a lot of storms. So it looks like Brakes is just barely going to be able to pull out that one. DeWalt's going to pull back just to get rid of that one, the one storm that was pulled off. And DeWalt does have a lot of Templar, but it doesn't look like he has enough units to tank damage for him. Even a couple Zerglings coming in from behind, and it looks like DeWalt's going to lose his entire army. He's down to just 60. Oh wow, just down to 67 supply. That really was his entire army. And GG from DeWalt. Wow. Looks like Brake was just able to outlast him. DeWalt really didn't have the macro capabilities that I thought he did. I don't mean like from his mechanics perspective, but just I thought he had more money coming in. Anyway, moving into Game 3. This is Gambit Cup presented by Twitch TV. Week 3, Day 1. Excuse me. Thanks to our sponsors once again, Twitch TV, Nerbopolis, and Prowler. Without them, Gambit Cup would be pretty boring because there would be no money on the line. I mean, still have pretty cool StarCraft, but money makes it better. Anyway, moving into game number 3. We have Project versus White. Act versus DM White. Alright. So, PvP on Matchpoint. I am a really big fan of Matchpoint. I think it's one of the best maps there is, like top 5. And let's see. Well, your Project is really, really good. Played a series versus Scan earlier today. I won't spoil how that went. Actually, I think that he must have played this game like just immediately following that series with Scan. So he certainly warmed up. And composition, we have White. Not quite as good as Project. He's good, but not quite Project level. We'll see what he can do though. TVP is not Project's best matchup. In fact, dare I say, I think it's his weakest matchup. So we'll get to see what White can do against it. On Matchpoint, a lot of it comes down to just checking for proxy. Yes, on Matchpoint you can hide a proxy. The base is just big enough to try to do those kind of shenanigans. Anyway, on Matchpoint, a lot of TVP comes down to positioning with these high pods, because these high pods are so hard to break if Protoss is stationed up here or Terra is stationed up here. Either one. So there's a high pod up here, and there's a high pod similarly in the other corner of the map, and depending on how you can defend those, really dictates the pace of the game. Looks like White just made a little bit of a misclick and had to click on the natural, not out on the outside. So both players will find their base at just about the same time. Neither of them is going to see anything too remarkable, and actually White's not going to see anything at all, because that's tight. He's able to hit the SCV for a while though. Barracks though is close enough to being done that it really doesn't matter. And he'll be able to build a Marine that can then chase the probe away eventually. He's going to do a little bit of damage to the supply depot. Yep, getting a message. Alright. It looks like Project's just going to play it safe. Actually, I don't think I've seen that from Terran. It's not terribly common to go 1-Rack's Refinery Command Center. I mean, 1-Rack's Expo is really common, but you usually wait until after the Command Center goes down before building the refinery. Project built the refinery and then immediately the Command Center. So his factory is going to be just a little bit faster, I guess. It doesn't make a huge difference, and it should still be safe. It's not as if White's doing anything really aggressive. He's going to have a couple goons out. He might push out with those first 2 goons. Although his probe hasn't seen anything yet. He just saw the first 3 Marines move out now. Good micro by White to finally take out that SCV. Alright. Command Center's almost done. Goes through down the bunker. Playing it safe. Actually, building a 4th Marine. A lot of Terrans stop at 3, but Project just gonna build the 4th one. Makes it a little bit harder for White to go for tank snipes with his ranged Dragoons. Range almost finished. And White's gonna go for a fast Robo. Probably for mines. Would be cool if it was probably for against mines, is what I meant to say. It would be cool if it was a Reaver. Project, once again, looking for those proxies. He's really cautious about the proxies this game. He still has 500 APM, and we are 5 minutes into the game. What a boss. White does not have 500 APM, but that's okay. You don't need 500 APM. There are plenty of good players who can't do that. Anyway, Project's first Siege tank's coming out, getting Siege. In fact, he got those almost simultaneously. Pretty good micro from White to make sure that the SCV can get through. Normally, if the Dragoons don't do anything, that SCV would have been able to pass because it takes so many hits to kill. But good job denying scouting. Ooh, White is going to go for a Robo Bay. I like it. Robo. They're so much fun. And in fact, he's going to go for a bust? I'm not sure he has enough stuff. I think that's enough for SCVs to repair that. Well, he does have the range on it, so he only sacrificed his Zealot to go for that bust. Interesting move to sacrifice your first Zealot to try to take out an, oh, that is in range. I thought that was just a little bit too far. And is he going to be able to snipe the supply depot? Is he going to snipe the supply depot? Indeed he is. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake from Project there. Anyway, 2 Siege tanks means that White's not going to be able to do much else. Ooh, yeah, he's supply blocked even. And how are we doing with those robos? First Reaver's almost done. Here we go. Now, with Reaver Harass does put you significantly behind just because you had to spend so much for the tech and the shuttle and the Reaver. Because essentially that one Reaver cost, actually he's getting shuttle speed, so he might be planning on doing a little bit more. But most times you only get one Reaver, so it costs 200, 100, plus 200 more is 400, 100, plus 200 more for the shuttle is 600, 100. Plus however much a robo costs. Is that 200, 100 again? Or is it 150, 100? I can't remember. Anyway, it costs a lot for just a single Reaver, so you do need to do significant damage with it, but you do get a lot of opportunities to do it. But since you're getting shuttle speed, you might be planning on doing it a little bit more. First Scarab. First Scarab. Actually, where did the shuttle go? There it is. And ooh. How did Project already have a race out? Project just knew that... How? Project built a race really early. Like, that thing came out before he saw the shuttle. And he doesn't have an academy, so he couldn't have scanned. And he didn't get an SCV in. So, Project just has some Dosu sense right there to know that the race is coming and shut it down hard with... To know that the shuttle's coming and shut it down hard with a race. It's like the Bacchus OSL all over again, 2010. Fantasy finally got his gold! Sorry if I spoiled that for anybody. He does have an academy now, but I was so correct about him not having any comp stats. And these Dragoons are doing a lot of damage. It looks like he's going to go and try to run again. He does take out one of the tanks. He's going to be able to take out the other tank. He's even splitting out his Dragoons a little bit so they don't take full splash damage. So he's doing a lot of damage with this early attack, being very effective. Looks like Project's going to try to run away. I think he's going to be able to get the command center back before it starts burning. Well, right now, Project doesn't exactly have a lot of stuff, and he's relying on just a choke to really save him at the moment. Barracks is even going down. He only's on 2 factories, so he needs to rebuild that barracks before he's able to build more factories. And it looks like DM White's continuing to be super, super aggressive, even despite the fact that he lost the shuttle. And that's a really amazing thing here. He didn't go 4-gate and do a massive pressure. He went for Reavers, and the Reaver did nothing. And he's still going to just go for it. And he's doing so much. Project is probably just really surprised by this just because he doesn't have to deal with Protoss as being this ridiculously aggressive. So the bare minimum defense isn't going to work out because White just said, fuck it, I'm going. doing some good micro. He's not actually losing mining time because it's just all the SCVs from that base. But still, it looks like he's going to yet again snipe a tank. Project cannot get any tanks out against this. And DMY is just continuing to rally these dragoons. He's doing an amazing job this game. And there's a command center now acting as a wall just because he couldn't get down that barracks. And it looks like he trapped 2 of the dragoons. And are they going to once again get a tank? I think they finally sustained enough damage that they're not going to be able to kill it. But that's not tight between. I'm not even sure if that's flush, much less tight. But it looks like they can get through. Going to be able to do even more damage. But I think Project has finally stemmed the tide of aggression. I don't think DMY can be able to do much else after taking out this refinery. Well, Project once again putting his tanks pretty far forward. But White's not exactly reinforcing. He did manage to get an Expo up behind us. He's only on 3 gateways, which is a really amazing thing. And he's rallying them in 2 at a time. So I think he's only on 2 gateways. Meanwhile, going for very fast arbiters off of 2 bases, considering that that's Project's only now landing his command center and looking at the minerals, he hasn't exactly mined a lot from them. So his Expo is way faster than Project's, effectively. So despite the fact that he did nothing with the Reavers, he's still going to be in a great position. And that shuttle speed did not come into play at all. I wonder if he canceled it. Anyway, DM White once again going for it. But this time his aggression catches up with him. Project has enough tanks. They're just able to kill him. And that's a lot of fire. He's actually going to lose that refinery. Command center's on fire. Supply depot's on fire. Turret's on fire. I think that's it. No. Well, Project did get his dropship up, so he's going to have a chance to do retaliation pressure. There isn't a super good place to drop on this map. You can't, because this isn't you can't put them in the little notches and you can't put it on top. So, the tank isn't going to be horribly effective, but he might be able to do some damage with the mines. Meanwhile, he's going to expand to take a 3rd very quickly. DM White did use up all his dragoons in those attacks, so he won't be able to immediately punish that command center. A pretty good read by Project, knowing that his opponent doesn't, despite the fact that his opponent was being that aggressive, he doesn't actually have any forces left. And DM White's forces are not in position. Looks like Project's going to get a clean drop-off. Where is the tank going? I'm not sure, but he only dropped 2 vultures in. And most of the probes get pulled, but vultures do have 3 kills total. He's getting a little bit, and the tank's going to drop in a pretty annoying position. How many probes is he going to be able to kill? 7 already? Whoa, those are really stacked probes. He already has 12 kills, 14 kills, and still going. He's going to be able to get off 1 more shot. 16 kills with that tank, and that might get Project back into this game to some extent. DM White has expanded down there, so by no means is DM White's economy shattered, despite the fact that he's not mining it either his main or his natural. But still, there was a huge blow done by Project with just a little drop. Nice move. He even gets the dropship out of there with still an okay amount of health. He even has a Wraith back up. I think he did scan to see that his opponent rebuilt the shuttle. Ooh. I thought that White had cleaned up the drop, but not quite. There still are a few vultures remaining. DM White should be able to take out of these mines. I think that mine's gonna get a hit. Anyway, Project now building an armory. Good, he really does need those upgrades as fast as possible in this matchup. Mine's gone. Look around. Oh, this Dragoon was hit. And this Dragoon took a little bit of damage as well, but only shield damage, so it doesn't matter. I heard the shuttle get loaded up. Yes, looks like he's just going for Zella bombs now. No more harass with it. Observer going to be killed easily. So, we're going into a 3-base versus 3-base situation here. White's 3 bases is a little bit better, because Project has a mineral only. But it's looking rather standard considering how much damage was done early game. Arbiters, how close are we to Arbiters? I don't actually see the Tribunal. There it is. Found it. Alright, looks like Project's gonna go for another drop down here with 2 tanks. And, this is gonna be hard for White to stop. He's gonna take a lot of time to clear those mines out, and these tanks can be able to easily raise the cannons. White is going to pull the probes out, but he's gonna have to be careful to not be sniped by that many vultures. Here comes the Zealot bombs. I'm not sure how much they'll be able to do. First one, alright. Looks like the Zealot bombs are actually gonna be able to do a lot of damage. Dragoons are clearing up the mines. Do take a couple hits, despite the fact that they have observers. And the Vulture does find the probes, but only manages to take off one. Good play by White to defuse a very dangerous situation right there. And now the Arbitral Tribunal is done. He is still not making an Arbiter though. He's starting to get a pretty big force going though. He does have a lot of Dragoons, and there's a pretty sizable patch of Zealots there. I'm pretty sure I saw a speed being done. Looking for a Zealot that's moving, but I can't find one. Well, Vulture's poking, and I'm going to back off again. White's actually doing a really good job of making sure that Project doesn't do much Vulture harass. Project, I'd say that's one of the strongest aspects of his play, his very good use of Vultures. But this game, White's been doing a pretty good job shutting them down. Aside from taking a few unnecessary mine hits, it's been near flawless. And if Project decides to poke up this direction, his Vulture's going to be killed up there. He's dropping mines, but there are observers there to see the mines. So, yeah, White's doing a very good job of shutting that down. Meanwhile, Science Facility is done, but I don't actually see a Science Vessel. Is that +2? No, it's only +1. I don't think he started that as soon as it was done. And ooh, it looks like Project managed to get another drop off in the base. Looks like it's going to be able to be pretty easily cleaned up though. It didn't. Cannons are going to prevent the Vultures from getting close to the SCVs, and there are enough observers out that the mines aren't going to get to do damage this time. More pylons. A lot of pylons. But in the midst of all this Vulture harass, Project has now built up a really large force. And White still does not have any Arbiters. He only just started his first Arbiter? It's going to be a while before he's able to deal with this. And the tanks can range from the low ground and hit a lot of this stuff. Deny mining for sure. Maybe even take out the... Yes, he could definitely take out the Nexus if he sees stuff tanks closer. And those Dragoons are going to have such a hard time getting down that small ramp. They could try to go all the way around and down this bigger ramp, but then there's nothing to stop Project from going up the smaller ramp. He is going to try to go all the way around. Project could easily run by and get his tanks up onto the high ground. But it looks like they're just going to be content ranging down the Nexus, using the dropship to provision. It looks like. And is he going for it now? DM White's going to try to go all the way around. There's a big Vulture force here. They continue to lay lines to delay. But no, it looks like Project's not going to go and try to run farther in. He's just going to pull back. Leaves a couple tanks to range the Nexus. And it looks like Project, in the meantime, is going to send a little bit of an attack force to attack White's essentially last mining base. So this could, once again, be very good. Mine drag into the tanks. Both of them are very weak, but none killed. And now there are Zealot bombs. Manages to not lose too much there, but he did pull back a lot of his forces, and now he has to deal with Project, who has managed to come up and around and take the high ground. So that any engagement now is going to be a lot more favorable for Project. and he can essentially just run away into the main. A lot of DCs are coming out. They could do damage, but if Project scans, they're all going to die. He seizes up all of the siege tanks a little bit too late, and he's dropping Zealot bombs. He's actually out of bombs at the moment. And coming in from both directions, he loses most of his siege tanks, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter because the Dragoons had to all clump up to get in, and it looks like White's going to lose his entire army down to 81 supply compared to 156, because Project has a huge wave of vultures coming down, and more shit back at his base. Just has so much stuff. Project has taken a 4th base, and a very safe 4th base at that. Is he going to try to take a base here? It looks like he's setting up to take an expo at this location as well. And he will have denied his opponent. The Nexus here died, so White is not mining at all. Just at 488 minerals and going down. Project will use the vultures to finish off the Nexus. So it's going to take a while for that Nexus to finish up, and in the meantime, this is the only patch you can mine from. So White's stuck at 81 supply and is going to be stuck there for a while. Meanwhile, Project's almost maxed above 400 APM. And did he get the? He didn't even get 2-1. He just has 1-0. He built the 2 armories because he probably needs to do that, but just didn't quite get around to it. A nice EMP. Hits a lot of the Dragoons, and more importantly, hits the Arbiter. And the Protoss is more than doubled by the Terran at this point. So all these units are going to die for White, and he doesn't have the money to replenish them. GG from White. And despite the fact that he had to deal with some insane pressure in the beginning, Project stabilizes, gets his footing, and then just crushes his opponent. Was not even close once Project got up to 3 bases. That is the sound of me downloading the next replay. So let's go into game number 4 of Reps versus DM. Boom. Alright. This is game number 4 of Reps versus DM. Cryok. This one was Tama. Oh, I think I messed that up. I did. Cryok and Tama. Aha. Anyway, this is game number 4 of the Gambit Cup presented by Twitch TV. Thanks to Twitch TV, Nervopolis, and Prowler, our sponsors. Tama. Cryok is green, Tama is blue. I should fix that. Boom, and Cryok is green. It is green. There we go. So, a PvT on Pathfinder. Pathfinder's fine for PvT. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Now, Tama, I don't know much about Tama, other than that he's a solid Russian Protoss. He does a lot of Russian stuff, but not so much outside of outside of Nation Wars and Gambit Cup. So I haven't seen him much. And Cryok made an amazing run recently during the Gosu Cup series, beating a lot of really good people. That he was pretty much the underdog in like every match he went up with, and he just was putting up great series after great series after great series. So I've actually seen him play a lot. For some reason, it seems like every time I cast, or every weekend I cast, I get a couple games from him. Just the way the teams work out. So let's see what he can do against a Protoss player. Now, Tamo will be scouting out his opponent first. Meanwhile, Cryok will scout just a little bit later. Both players go in the right direction. Part of the funkiness of this map is that the mains are on raised platforms, which isn't unusual, but it's on a ranged platform that isn't pressed against the wall. So the base can be surrounded by siege tanks, theoretically. Or you can place siege tanks at strategic locations around the sides and pick off buildings, forcing Protoss to have a much smaller base than it would appear they have, because sometimes you can't put tech buildings out on the outskirts. And a lot of people cry imbalance when they see that. Fantasy tried to infuse that twice during his OSL series versus Zhongbi, and it may or may not have worked out so well. If you haven't seen Zhongbi versus Fantasy, go watch that. That's like the best series of 2011 right there. And I'm not just saying that because Zhongbi and Fantasy are two of my favorite players. It was a great series. Anyway, Tamo went for a really fast Zealot, and in fact, he went for a... No, that gateway's not that fast. Okay, I was going to say he went for a really fast second gateway. But, so far the Zealot's been able to snipe off an SCV easily, and he's going to be able to pick off, one Marine? Actually, Croc's doing a really good job of splitting up his Marines. He even sends them in different directions. And it looks like, he's going to be able to stop a little bit of aggression from Tamo. Is he going to be able to pick up the probe? Not quite. Alright. So, pretty even trade. Cryok damages that Zealot. Only loses one SCV. Nothing big. But it looks like he will be going for, he's going to go for, Siege. He's going to go for really fast Siege mode. And I would say Siege expands, but he should be throwing down that other command center really soon. It looks like he is saving up for it. In fact, he is saving up for it, so it will be a Siege expand. And here comes Tama again, with this time a Zealot and Dragoon. Range still has quite a bit of a ways to go. That Robo might, in fact, be for... excuse me, that one is much more likely to be for Reavers. Just because it looks like Tama wants to be rather aggressive this game. And he really does... If being this aggressive, you really don't need the super quick Observer. I don't know if that bothers anybody else, but I always find it weird when the tank is facing, like, up, and the turret isn't aligned down the middle of the tank. It's, like, shifted over a little bit. And it's like, why did you make an asymmetrical tank? Seems like a symmetrical tank would be so much better. And then, like, as it moves, it kind of, like, flip-flops sides. And it's like, oh, maybe it was supposed to be a symmetrical tank, but somebody just didn't screw down the last bolt tightly enough? And now it kind of jiggles a little. I don't know. It always bothered me about the tank. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, looks like I was wrong though. He will be just going for the super fast observatory. Much faster than mine's coming out. In fact, Croc's going to go for a fast armory instead of going for any of the Vulture upgrades. Which, personally, I can see that going either way. Upgrades very, very important in this matchup for Terran, and I always like when Terran goes for them very quickly. But at the same time, if you go for Vulture upgrade, if you go for Vulture mines, you can set down mines really early, and Tama doesn't have good Dragoon numbers to try to stop you from doing it, so you can just lay them anywhere you want to. So, I can see both ways. I'm not opposed to the little bit of a rarer going for the armory though. I still like it. Anyway, second factory going down. Actually, Cryok's not getting that other gas. Usually Terrans go for that pretty quickly. Especially considering that he's not building a lot of Vultures. Because if you're building a lot of Vultures, you don't need the second gas immediately, but Cryok's not building it. Interesting. I wonder if he has something a little bit special planned. Anyway, Tama getting out yet another observer. I'm waiting to see what Tama's going for. Oh! Tama's throwing down yet another factory, going up to 3, and now he's starting to get Vulture upgrades. So it looks like he's going to go for a pretty heavy Vulture army coming up to this point in the game. +1 is about halfway done. +1 really isn't important so much. It's really +2 that matters a lot. Ooh. Looks like Tama's getting a little bit too close, but good control, making sure that his units don't get aggroed. Interesting position for a... Ooh, that's not what I want to do. Interesting position for a scouting pylon, because Vultures can come out here and then swoop around the backside. I assume that's the purpose of that pylon, but Cryox scouted it with his engineering bay and then sent a couple Marines just to take it out. I think that's like the 3rd observer Tama's lost so far. He was a little bit careless with his observers. He's getting good scouting information because of it, but I think if he was just a little bit more careful, he could pull them back before they actually die. He doesn't need to continuously lose them. What are you doing on gas? Yeah, he is a little bit low on gas, and he still needs to build more observers. Scouting SCV? Usually you can send out Vultures to scout, but... I'm actually not sure how that SCV... he was just parking the SCV out there for a while. Went all the way around the backside. I'm not sure how successful he'll be getting in. I think those 3 Dragoons are more than enough to stop him. Although he will be able to see that there is an expo here. And actually, does Tama have any zealots? Oh, he does have zealots. I was going to say, it was really funny if he only had goons and they couldn't actually get to the SCV in there. But no, the SCV is going to make a lap around the entire map. Anyway, Cryox now starting to add on some Vultures. From these two. From these two. And planning on taking this outside expo. It is a mineral only, but it's pretty easy to defend for Terran. But it looks like Tama's going to make a little bit of an attack on that side. And Cryox doesn't have his full force over there. He has all of his tanks, but none of his Vultures, essentially, aside from those 3. So, once the Zealots get there, I think that Tama can make a really good... this stack will be really good for Tama. Cryox doesn't quite have enough tanks to do a lot of damage. And there were not enough Vultures. Yeah, he didn't have a super big number of tanks that he just could ignore Vultures. He really did need to have some Vultures there, and he's going to lose, and that's a pretty sizable number of tanks to lose. Certainly this base is going to be forced to lift. But what can he bring up from the backside? It actually looks like Cryox doesn't have much stuff left. 62 supply compared to 108. That was about 14 food? No, that was about 20 food lost for free, essentially. He didn't really kill much. So, it looks like Tama's not going to make the full lap around. He is just going to pull back with his units. It's good. In the meantime... excuse me. In the meantime, he is throwing down his expansion of his own. It's kind of hard to defend this expo against Vulture Harass, but at the moment, he really has Cryox pinned back, so it won't matter now. Although later in the game, we'll have to see how he plans on defending it. So still 134 supply compared to 86. Cryox, he does have a lot of factories now, but I don't think. Well, if he can manage to hold on to that mineral only, he will have the resources to produce off of all these factories and 2 armories for that matter. But it's going to be pretty hard to hold on to this back one. It's rather undefended. And it looks like Tama's preparing for another attack on that side. It'll force it to lift once again. But this time he'll have to pull SCVs as well. Observer sees that there's not much defense, and he is now going for it with a huge number of speed lots and Dragoons, and actually his forces are getting a little bit stuck because there's just too many Dragoons there. They can't actually see the tank on the high ground, so it's going to be able to do some pretty good damage, but he still does force the lift on the command center. Not going to be able to get it down. No, he's not going to focus it, so it's not going to go down. But he is going to be able to take out a lot of the other attacking units on the low ground. And Tama is going to be able to clean up everything there. Is he going to continue to push, though? I think that he's going to get, not going to be able to get too many tanks by doing this, and he might lose all of his Dragoons. He's now pulling back, but there's 5 Dragoons in that. So that attack, he still manages to deny that Expo from going down, which is good, but in terms from unit for unit, he was not exactly cost efficient there. Looks like Tama's going to try to expand to that other main. There's a Vulture in the natural, so if it comes up to the top, he'll see that there's an Expo there, but at the moment, Kryak does not know about it. Alright, double forges. Going to get upgraded very quickly. And Kryak did get the science facility and timed it with the +1 or the +2 pretty well. No, I timed it with the +1 pretty well. So the drop wasn't terribly effective. A little bit of damage. Oh, but all these probes try to transfer the half that one Vulture. And all these Vultures are going to help that one Vulture kill everything. And they're all mining at the patch of their own safe at that. And so, looks like Kryak's going to be able to shut that down. Does he quite have enough Vultures? No, he doesn't quite have enough Vultures to actually be able to kill it off. But he does kill all the SCVs there, so good move from him. In the meantime, though, it looks like Tama's going to make another pretty sizable push. And does Kryak have enough stuff? It does look like he has enough stuff if he's positioning it pretty well. So he should be able to hold this off from Tama. Especially considering that Tama has almost pure goon. There's like one speed lot. There's a single speed lot. He really doesn't need more considering how many tanks Kryak has. Anyway, +2 almost done, so the tanks will be very effective against those Dragoons. Looks like Kryak set up a base at the bottom expansion. It's going to be pretty hard to stop Dragoons from doing just this, because he can't quite get siege tanks over here. He'll probably have to put up 3 here, and here to defend, and maybe throw down a supply depot or some other building there to try to block. But for now, Kryak's forced to pull back. In the meantime, Tama's going for an attack from behind. This time he has an Arbiter, but still, these tanks on the high ground are going to do a lot of damage. Oh, he stasises them. A good move by him to use the stasis to stop those tanks from just raining death. And this time he will be able to kill the command center. And how much stuff does Kryak have? He's coming up with a little bit of stuff, but that's not going to be enough. Oh, yes it is. It is going to be enough. So Tama's going to pull back. But he's continuing to deny this Expo. Very good move. How much has been mined? Not even 200 on a single patch. Meanwhile, Tama is still continuing to harass this base, and Tama's doing a very good job of keeping Kryak on 2 bases. Not doing such a good job avoiding those mines. And he does lose all of his games to mines. Those tanks will help out a lot. I think that once he gets his bearings... Ooh, is he going to lose that command center? He might lose that command center. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. In the meantime, he's continuing to harass his Vultures at this Expo because Tama's not able to defend it in the least. But he does have a huge army coming down. Where's Kryak's army? There are a lot of spider mines and a good number of siege tanks, but not actually a lot of Vultures. He does finally get around to repairing it. He will throw down a supply depot here, and I think these tanks are going to move into position over here, which is going to help him out a lot. In the meantime, it looks like Cam is going in for the attack, though. And, oh, those tanks on the high ground are just doing so much. It's like a tower defense game, and, oh, those tanks are just so powerful because they can just hit all these Dragoons for such a wide arc, and the Dragoons can't retaliate. And if they do try to retaliate, it's going to be even more painful. So it looks like Cryok, despite the fact that he was down so far in supply, is able to hold off, and now he's not quite equalized. He's still down 50, but 50 in this matchup's kind of almost okay. 200 versus 150, or is it 160? 200 versus 160. So it's not horrible that he's behind 40 supply, but he's working his way back in. In the meanwhile, he has now mined out his main. His natural still has a little bit of a ways to go, about 500 a patch. And he's really relying on holding on to this base at the moment. He does need to take another base. If he goes down to only this as his mining base, it will be a very bad position for him. So he's going to have to figure out a way to either secure this. Really, that's it. He can't take this base. It's already mined out anyway, even if he was to attack it. Unless he wanted to make a huge push to try to take this main or this natural, he's going to need to find a way to secure this mineral only in the back. His Protoss pretty much has the rest of the map. And actually, just look at that. Oh, went for a recall in the main. Forget what I was saying about the minimap. Looks like that's actually going to do a lot of damage. Croc's taking a pretty long time to finally get his units back there, and only a few of them are tanks. The dropship actually does manage to get out of there. Funny. With 3 health. But this drop's actually doing a horrible amount of damage. It gets the starport, gets the science facility, gets a bunch of supply depots still going as well. And getting a lot of units. Armory, not quite going to pick up the armory. He has a chance to stop 3 weapons from finishing. That would be really good if he could. Does that have any storms yet? Yes, that Templar has 2 storms. Has 2 storms, and oh no, he doesn't use the storms on that huge tank pocket. That would have been great. But very successful recall overall. Kills off so many supply depots, a bunch of tech buildings, and gets even a lot of units as well. And this Arbiter's going to continue to just shoot stuff. Boom, there we go, Arbiter kill. In the meantime, Cryok's starting to rebuild some of it. It's a couple supply depots and an academy. He actually needs a Goliath over there to stop that Arbiter. There we go. It'll get there eventually. Anyway, Cryok has once again trying to retake this mineral only, but he hasn't made some massive. He doesn't really have a good defensive plan to stop units from coming down here. I mean, he just has those 2 tanks, which have always been there. In fact, it used to be 3, now it's only 2. Repairing the dropship. Yeah, so what I was talking about earlier is just look at the mini-map and look at Cryok. He's just contained to this kind of curvy line. It's like a Q shape, and that's it. Anyway, here comes Gamma to once again mine that mineral only. It's going to go down, and his natural only has 250 a patch at this point. And, oh, now he has Templars to storm, although he doesn't get a good storm, he only hits 1 tank. There we go, hitting both tanks that time. And are those 2 merging? No. That was kind of weird. Anyway, doesn't quite get the command center this time, but he doesn't need to. He just needs to continue to stop mining from there, and Cryok won't be able to rebuild. He's at 163 supply, which is pretty good, but it's certainly not where he wants to be. Cam has been consistently at 200, and now taking just every other expo on the map. He took that one there, taking the natural. That one's been up for a while, and that one's almost done now. He mined out his 3rd before he mined out his natural, and there had been no harass on either. Interesting. Meanwhile, lots of fire. Fire. Anyway. 2 Stargates. That's good. Where are these things going? I'm gonna pull back. I guess he figures that he's pretty safe with this Expo. And I would tend to agree. It's gonna be pretty hard to stop mining from here. But he doesn't really need to stop mining from here. He just needs to stop mining from over here. Still only 200 minerals per patch gone. And he is now out at his natural. Looks like Cryox did a little bit more prepared this time around to deal with drops. A lot of mines. Or not drops, I mean recalls. I'm not sure what Tama's planning on doing at this point, because Cryox pretty much locked down, and it looked like his game plan was just to keep Cryox on 2 bases. We kind of gave up a third, and then he's going to keep him on 3 bases, but now he's not actually putting pressure on that mineral only. So now he's just going to attack Cryox straight up, but that is too many tanks, and no High Templars from Tama, so he's just going to pull back. 174 compared to 200. It'll be 200 in a second. Ooh, so many gateways. That's a lot of tanks too. How much money does Tama have? Tama has a lot of minerals, but running a little bit low on gas. He hasn't taken that gas yet. Probably should. Anyway, it looks like Croc's going to be able to take out these 2 bases. Ooh. Yeah, Tama's army is kind of withdrawn a bit. So Croc's going to have an opportunity to take out everything here. Will he be able to defend if Tama attacks? It'll be close. These 2 tanks will help out a lot, but I'm not sure if it'll be quite enough. It looks like they're going to try to go around the backside. Ooh, that's a lot of turrets. Even takes out the Arbiter, despite how beefy they are. But Tama, by playing this very passively, kind of allowed himself to fall into a little bit of a lull, and Cryox is in a really good position with these tanks. Tama's going to decide to go for the counterattack himself, and it'll be close whether he has enough stuff to break it. There are a lot of mines there, but ooh, this is a very nice Zealot to clear out so many of them. Alright. So, looks like Tama's being really indecisive as to what he wants to do with this army. I think he realizes he can't quite break Cryox main, so he's just going to go for the counterattack here. And actually, Cryox is going to siege up his tanks in a really good position, and Tama might actually throw away his... Oh no. Oh no. Tama threw away his entire army. He didn't exactly do a lot of damage either. Oh no. And in the meantime, Cryox has a little battalion up there to take out that Expo. Cryox actually working himself into a really nice position at this point. It's going to be a little bit hard to deal with these Zealots and Templar. He can do some good damage, but I think he just has enough tanks that Tama may not be able to just pump units into victory. He might. It'll be close. It'll be close. Meanwhile, Cryox really isn't in a good position to reinforce this attack. So he's these 10 tanks, 11 tanks? No, 12 tanks are on their own. And eventually the Zealot bombs are just going to be able to kill them all. And the Arbiters too, I guess. Alright. So Tama has now finally eliminated that force, but not after losing 2 of his own bases. He has set up an Expo of this mineral only. And I guess in Tama's position, you can kind of sacrifice it when you have 10k minerals, as long as your opponent isn't taking it, because his opponent, it's out in his natural, essentially out of this base, he's down to just the mineral only. So, if Cryox isn't able to secure a base somehow, then Tama will have won by allowing those bases to be destroyed. Because it really didn't matter that he lost mining from those bases. He has enough mining from everywhere else. Stasis only gets to Science Vessel. Looks like Tama's going to go for the attack here. I don't think that's going to work out. I think there's just enough vultures to deal with all those zealots. Well, they're not actually firing at the zealots. There we go. Yeah. Pretty close, but Crack's going to be able to pull that out. And Tama, again, doesn't really have to win any of these fights. He just has to stall Cryok and not allow Cryok to take a 5th base, because now this 3rd base is mined out completely. So there was just the mineral only, which has about 700 minerals a patch. Cryok needs to do something, but I'm not sure what he can do. Terran isn't a race where you can just be really aggressive with the X-bowing, especially this late in the game. And really, it's like, where's he going to go that's not already taken by Tama? They're really, aside from that mineral only, there are just these 4 bases. The 4 bases that the neutral players, that the ghost player should have. So Cry's going to have to take out one of them. I mean, he's done a good job of separating Tama from Tama's mining. So theoretically, he could take out all of these bases relatively quickly, but then he would need to expand there just as quickly, so he doesn't actually lose out. And he needs to make his move pretty soon here. As long as Tama he lost a bunch of gateways here, but as long as Tama can reunite all of his mining facilities in his army, he should be able to close this game out. And Good Storm's taking out a lot of the vultures. 4 kills, 7 kills. Still stasis science vessels. Oh, just coming on stasis. And really, none of this stuff matters. Croc can't use any of those SCBs because this patch is already oversaturated. I'm not sure that this army, though, while it's going to be hard to break, while it's going to be hard to break this army for Tama, it's equally hard for Croc to actually move out with it. It's not quite that big. So I think Tama's in a really good position here, because Croc can't move, and actually Tama's going to go for it. Pretty well timed surround. The top forces took a little bit too long because of the mines. Oh, even guys from the bottom. Actually, a very nice surround. Going to be able to kill off Croc's last force. Well, not quite last force. He's bringing in more vultures and another wave of tanks. Although he really does need to pull these back because they're not in a good position. Okay, he's going to siege them up here. It should be enough to deal with the pure goon army. EMP is just a couple goons there. Sense of Templar. So he's going to be in pretty much the same position he was just in, but he doesn't need to be in the same position he was just in. He needs to be taking a base. Down to 400. The clock is ticking. Meanwhile, 180 supply for both players. Oh, now 192 for Tama. 3. Actually, really good upgrades for Tama, even getting +2 shields. Is he getting +3 shields? No, he's not getting +3 shields. Doesn't quite have the gas to really swing that right now. Meanwhile, Tama also 3-3. Or Cryok also 3-3, I mean. And it looks like he took a little bit more of an aggressive position. He's going to be able to shell the natural. And units are coming in from Tama from behind. They're going to be able to pick off 3 tanks, and those 3 tanks are very valuable considering how little money Cryok has at the moment. And the Goliath as well. So Cryok's going to be able to take out this base, but he can't get an SCV over there to actually start mining from it. Interesting. Gonna try to snipe some missile turrets. There's so many SCVs doing nothing. Down to 300 a patch. Looks like he's also going to be able to easily take out this base. So once again, he's keeping these two bases. Whoa. There's a pretty big discrepancy between those two patches. Is there one patch that starts it out at half? It might be. Anyway, looks like Tama's going to once again go for an attack. The Vultures aren't in a good position, so the Skadelok should be able to do a lot of damage. He's going to lead with the Dragoons, though. He's probably going to end up losing the Dragoons. But the Zealots... Ooh, even bringing units from behind. Tama's doing a pretty good job of attacking from multiple angles. And will this be enough to actually clean it up? I think it will. Those sea tanks are going to have enough time to actually finish taking out that building. So Tama's going to save this base just barely and clean up everything of Cryox. Cryox down to 134 supply. And this base is down to 200. Meanwhile, Cryox coming up from behind to take out the mineral only. Bringing in some Vultures, but it's not enough to stand up to Tama's full force. He's at still almost maxed. Anyway, he should be able to do some good damage though, funneling all of Protoss' forces down this pipe. Ooh, that's close. More Vultures are going to come in, and that's going to slow down Tama's forces enough that this force won't do it, but there might be enough in the back. It's going to be close either way, but I think Tama's just going to have enough stuff that eventually he's going to overpower it. Yeah, there we go. Finally got past the Vultures, and now the tanks are pretty exposed. So the Nexus doesn't go down, but Tama's still mining from here. Again, like really big discrepancy, 500 compared to 1100. I guess just nobody's mining that patch. Anyway, a drop from Cryox in the back. That's something. I don't think it's enough though. Tama's going to be able to clear it up. It does kill a bunch of Zealots and a Dragoon. But Cryox isn't the player who should be going for unit trades at this point. He really needs to do damage to buildings. And really needs to, again, take a base. Because now, a lot of the patches are gone. There's only 4 patches left. And I think that does it after that with the final attack being lost over here. Because Cryox can't expand at this point. He doesn't have enough stuff to defend it. And he can't build any more stuff because he's out of money. Well, he does still have this force left, so once this force dies, the game's over. But if he can do something with a pretty good tank count and a nice Vulture count, maybe. Is he going to go for a recall? Indeed, he is going to go for a recall. I'm not sure that's necessary from Tama's part. Just because there's not much to kill there. I mean, even if you kill the factories, it doesn't matter, because Cryox can't build anything out of them. If you kill the supply depots, it doesn't matter, because Cryox nowhere near his supply cap. If you kill the armories, it doesn't matter, because the upgrades are already finished. So, not really too much to kill, but it'll at least force Cryox to reposition his units and continue to slow him down. Alright, and now Cryox is in fact out of money. He has less than 1,000 minerals left. He does have stuff queued up at all of his buildings. Will this force be enough to secure another base? Probably not. Not going to kill that observer. He's going to kill that observer though. In fact, he's not actually going to be able to clean up these goons. Or he can, he just hasn't moved into the right position yet. Who's the Arbiter though? Well, we'll get that eventually. In the meantime, Tama has a very nice arc, going to take out Cryok's last force, and now Cryok is down to 100 supply and no money. Well, still 700 minerals. So that's like 10 more vultures. Not even control group. And it looks like Tama's going to go for an attack right now. He's probably going to lose his army. Just because there's so many mines here and he doesn't have a lot of zealots. But, yeah, he's going to pull back now. Doesn't matter, he can remax very quickly. He has those 5k minerals and is mining off of 3 bases. He did finally exhaust this expo, though. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Preemptive GG? I think that's against the rules. I think that Tama might be banned next week. I'm not a referee, so I can't make decisions like that, but I'll have to ask Awa about that. Anyway, 94 supply, and now he's out of money. And it looks like Tama's just going to attack again. These tanks are not in a terribly good position. So, I mean, they're going to kill a bunch of Dragoons, but not enough. GG from Cryok. Reps Tama takes a rather long game and brings it to 3-1. Reps only needs one more win to take it home. I asked Awar about that right now. Right. Replay saved. Putting in my folder. Yeah, give me a second. Game chat. Anyway, going into what... Alright. We're going to have to wait for an official ruling, apparently, on that, so... Not find out this cast. Anyway. We have Reps Deafy versus DM Light. What race is Deafy's Terran, right? No, Deafy's Protoss? Man, Deafy is the 2v2 player for Team Russia. And he plays Zerg sometimes, he plays Protoss sometimes. Sorry, he plays Zerg sometimes, he plays Terran sometimes, but he never plays Protoss. But apparently he's Protoss in a 1v1 setting. Interesting. And on the other side we have Light. The map is Aztec? Yes, the map is Aztec. So, known as being a little bit Protoss favored, just because there are lots of surrounding paths. But, we don't have any ridiculously imbalanced maps. I'm thirsty. That is good. What players doing standard stuff so far? I'm really pumped for Pro League tonight. And I'm even more pumped because it starts at 7 p.m. my time. I get to know what it's like to be Korean, because normally it starts at like 7 p.m. for Koreans, but that's going to start at 7 p.m. for me. It's going to be like primetime StarCraft. I'm not going to have to either go to bed at 2 in the morning or wake up at 4 in the morning. No, it's going to be glorious. And SKT's playing first. And SKT is SKT. Anyway, Defi's getting the core. Good. Light is positioning himself to take the early command center. Indeed, he is. When the Terran builds the barracks up there, it's usually because they want to throw down the command center early. But actually, on this map, it's normally a very good idea for Terran to go for 1-Rax FE, because if you don't go for a 1-Rax FE, then you go for a siege expand, and then you have to deal with tanks on the low ground versus ranged goons, and it's just sticky. It's not something you want to have to work with. It's a lot easier when you have tanks on the high ground versus ranged goons. Then everything works brilliantly. But on this map, I think that if Terran doesn't go for either a 1-Rax FE or a 14cc, they're making a little bit of a mistake. Anyway, nope. Light doing some micro against the drone. I don't want to check one more time. Okay. I'm so used to... I really thought that Defi was Terran. So I just wanted to check one last time to make sure that I don't cast the entire game from backwards perspective. And ooh, it's a bunker rush. It's a bunker rush, and he's able to finish the bunker. And in fact, the bunker rush on this map is effective because of the reverse ramp. He put it a little bit far back, though, so he actually won't be able to shoot down the ramp, but still, it's a bunker rush, so he's going to be able to slow down that expo for quite a while. Goon range is quite a ways off. Actually, he built the Robo before Goon range. Whoa. Okay, that's really rare. And it looks like there's going to be a Goon run-by. He's not going to quite be able to pick off that other Marine, though. And he's building yet another bunker. I don't think those bunkers actually range each other. He's building he's going... Wow! Defi's going for a ridiculously fast Reaver. Like, the fastest Reaver possible. That's going to be pretty good versus a bunker rush. And I guess that's why he built the assimilator, why he went for the gas field, so that he could slow down the factory being built, so that he'll have more time before the tanks are out. And in fact, he did slow down the factory a lot. In conjunction with that bunker rush, that slow factory is going to make it so that the Reaver Raft is going to be very effective, and Light has not scouted. He might have scouted it, I'm not sure. Anyway, Defi is able to just bypass the shuttle, or excuse me, bypass the bunker with the shuttle. But it looks like he's going to link up all of his forces here. I think he was planning on attacking the Dragoons there, and then he realized that they weren't there. That's why his Marines went up and then came back. But he has 6 Marines in the base. All these Marines are damaged, though. In fact, they're all one-shots. He only pulls 4 probes, though. Is that going to be enough? Looks like it is going to be enough. Actually, good play by Defi. Knowing exactly how many Dragoons probes he needed to pull. And now he's going in for a drop of his own, and he's actually going to be able to delay that second factory from coming online for a while more. And force the SCVs to micro around, and where's the Reaver? The Reaver is just about done. The shuttle will get that back there with a pretty amazing timing, actually. I think that this was pretty much all this was planned from Defi, to bring in those extra 2 goons. So Light's going to not have a lot of forces up, and he's thinking these SCVs micro a lot. A very, very stylish play from Defi. Well, how much damage will the Reaver do? That's the real question here. Ooh, the Dragoon get trapped, although they're only allowing 1 SCV to shoot at a time. Per goon, I mean. But they were already significantly damaged. So the Dragoons have been repelled. But right now, DM Light has a single Marine in his base to defend. The single Marine is not very good versus a Reaver or a Dragoon. Well, alright, the first tank and the first Vulture are out. But Siege Mode isn't done. No, Siege Mode is just starting. So the Reaver's still going to be very effective against the tank. And there goes the lucky Vulture. That should have killed. And let's see what let's see, this is really going to come down to some really a really interesting micro battle where it's one Dragoon and one Dragoon, one Reaver, one Shuttle versus one Marine, one Vulture, one tank. And the tank goes down. But another tank pops out. Defi has lost his Dragoon. Will he continue to? He will continue to go for the aggression with it. And he's focusing down the factory. I don't think he meant to focus on the factory. As he's going to pull out now. Could have picked off that Marine, but doesn't need to. There are 2 more goons waiting here for Defi to come back. 2 turrets have been placed up, but not in this location. So it looks like Defi's going to continue to just drop this area. And the siege tank sieges up, but he can. No, he didn't realize that there was a siege tank there. So he's gonna do some micro. Gets a good hit on both of the siege tanks, but loses the Reaver and loses the Dragoon. Now the Shuttle's gonna have to pull back, and very amazing micro from Light is gonna mean that he gets to continue to live. And remember that Light's Expo has been up for a very long time now compared to Defi's, which isn't done yet. So despite the fact that Defi put on some really good aggression in the beginning, he's not that far ahead, and he's continuing to build Reavers. He really needs to do some damage with the second Reaver to make it worth it. But Light is pretty well prepared. What? Where'd he go? He dropped that goon. I was wondering why he was dropping goons. Yeah. It's actually a really nice nest of turrets around. I don't think the Shuttle is going to be able to get in. I mean, maybe he could poke here if he had perfect scouting. But otherwise... that's like perfect. You need to fly like along here and then up this way to avoid the bunker. That's really nice turret placement. And actually, Defi's going to go for double shuttles at this point. Well, let's see what he can do. He can probably unload a lot of it before that turret's able to pick off one of the shuttles. And speed is done for the shuttle, so double speed shuttle, 3 Dragoons and 1 tank. Let's see how much he can do. All the SCVs, well, a lot of the SCVs pull away, but that's a nice little stack there for him to kill. He's going to send 1 goon back to take care of the turret. It's good, going to allow his shuttles more movement. But that 1 tank is doing a lot of damage. All the SCVs are coming back to repair, but are all going to die to Reaver Splash. A second tank comes, though, and is going to force the Reaver back. And the speed shuttle, though, is going to be very effective at just darting around the base, and lands the Reaver right next to the tank, and is going to pick it right back up after killing it and flee from a 3rd tank. There is no more goons left. All the goons are dead. He's now going to go for a little bit of SCV harass. Oh, how many kills will he get? Oh, he's in really good position. He's up to, I don't know how many kills he has. Oh, but he's getting so many kills, and the tanks are nowhere near. Is that tank in range? That tank was in range. But he killed a lot of SCVs, and that might be enough to justify the cost of the Reaver at this point. That shuttle needs to leave before that turret finishes. I think it's going to die to that turret, in fact. But, I think that might have just justified it. He's now transitioning into a more normal army, getting the observers and getting a bunch of gateways. He still isn't saturated on that base yet, so he's still suffering a bit economically, but Light suffering just as much. Not just as much, but Light suffering as well. It's a pretty even game at this point. I would say Light has a little bit of advantage just because he has more units. But Defi seems to have equalized. What's the supply looking like? 150 for Protoss compared to not 150 for Protoss, 50 for Protoss compared to 50 for Terran. Interesting that it's dead even. He's going to go for a Vulture run-by. Manages to only pick off 1 with the goons. They were a little bit out of position to defend against a run-by. And now he's going to be able to get some probe kills. Good move by Light to get some more kills in there. Alright, and now Light has 5 tanks and no Vultures. Well, a couple Vultures. Still doesn't have mines yet. Really late on those mines just because he's been under aggression so much he hasn't had time. Although he's throwing down a lot of factories, so he's had the money to. He could have gotten mines at this point if he wanted to, and instead he's getting a lot of factories instead. Interesting. He didn't know that Defi went for the early Robo, so that he knew that there would be an Observer out relatively soon, so he knew Mines wouldn't be as effective, but still, Mines are so important in this matchup that most players go for it a lot earlier. Anyway, he's doing a lot of scouting with this Vulture, just to make sure that Defi isn't throwing down secret expos. Good move by him. Just really wants to make sure that he's about in the same position he's in. With a lot of aggression like that, you can sometimes get lost and not realize that your opponent threw down an extra. Okay. You don't realize your opponent threw down an extra expo. Anyway, now mines are being researched. Almost done. And in the meantime, Defi is continuing to repopulate his drone count, which is pretty weak at the moment. Looks like he's done with Reaver Harass, though. He's not rebuilding the shuttle and the Reaver. He's had some time to if he was going to. It looks like Defi's gonna go for a bit of an attack. He has about 10 goons. That's not gonna be enough to deal with these tanks, though. He might be able to pick off a Vulture or two, but nope. Vulture full back. In fact, Defi really needs to retreat. Good stuff from him. Those guys should be mining. That's okay. 91 supply compared to 84, so still pretty even for both players. Light finally has his academy online, so that has the concept. Good. Producing a lot of Vultures. Everyone in his factory is producing Vultures. So Vultures off of 6 packs. He should be flooding with Vultures relatively soon. And he already has a lot of tanks, though, so this is going to be a pretty scary push. I think that Light's going for a game-ending push at this point, because he's only building Vultures so that his Vultures will be able to rush to the battlefield in time to reinforce. Defi does have a pretty big force of his own, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Light's not sieging, though. He's just going with unsiege mode tanks, which are pretty good, but not that good. It doesn't look like it matters, though. He just has enough stuff, and because he's only building Vultures, Light will be able to get another 6 speed Vultures to reinforce this relatively soon. So Defi's going to have to pull back. He's going to throw away a couple Zealots on accident. And he only has 3 goons left, and he doesn't have any defenses here. No cannons, no High Templar or anything like that. And it looks like Light's going to be able to easily... I think he's flashing this tank. Yeah, he is flashing that tank. Oopsie. He doesn't have any stuff to... stop Light from taking out this expo. And then probably nothing to take out the main. Because this is a very scary push from Light, and Light is only building Vultures. He really does not want this game to go on much longer. He is building a single nether tank, but no, he just wants to make sure that the tanks he has there doesn't die, and he can reinforce his attack very quickly. Very good move by Light to take out those mines, to make sure that they don't blow up back in your face. That's a very good way for Terran to allow a very strong push like this to fail, if you accidentally allow mine drives, because you weren't being proactive about clearing out mines. Anyway, and here comes the attack. It looks like both players moving in simultaneously, and Light with a much, much larger force. Defi's going to be killed, and he GG from Defi. Well, Light, despite the fact he had to deal with some crazy aggression in the beginning, and in ridiculously fast Reavers, was able to hold off relatively well, and then crush Defi, who was just being too aggressive all game and did not have the forces to stop a timing push from Light. Very nice. And we go to 3-2. Can Reps close it out right here, or will we be going into an ace match? I don't know. Let's find out. Game 6. Alright. We have DM LML and Reps Degem. I'm pretty sure that's... Man, that's not Degem. I'm gonna say it's Degem because I have no idea what it's supposed to be, but I have a feeling it's supposed to be like, oh yes, that's Dehem, or something. No, that would be if it's Spanish. It's not Spanish. I don't know. It's gonna be something funny pronounced. I have no idea what it's supposed to be, and I'm butchering his name. And he's probably really offended, but I'm sorry. Degen 5. Alright. I didn't actually look at the races. So a PvP on La Mancha. Double check just to make sure. Okay, LML is yellow. I think that was technically a triple check, but let's not dwell on that. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Reps. Great. Degen 5. And change the text to black. Change the text to black. Alright. So, PvP on La Mancha. Looks like LML isn't going to scout. An interesting decision. The convention is for Protoss to send the scout out after building the pylon on 8. But LML is not going to do that. Could be that he just... a lot of builds can be defended with one gate core if your micro is good enough, but most players like to go for the scout anyway, just to be extra careful. LML is going to go for just that little bit of an economic edge. Anyway, Degen finds... excuse me, Degen finds his opponent immediately, and I'm pretty sure that's a Manor Gas. Well, wait, no, it's not a Manor Gas. You can see on the mini-map it's a different color. Haha! No, actually, LML is going to go for a 2-gate. That's very interesting, considering that he didn't scout. I guess he was scouting because he knew that the 2-gate would be safe against anything. But normally you need to scout anyway for a 2-gate to know where your opponent is. He's going to get lucky and find him on the first go. But if theoretically his opponent wasn't on the right position and he was on one of the bottom 2, LML wouldn't know about it. I guess if he's going to save up for 3 Zealots, then it doesn't matter. Anyway, Degen knows that there's a 2-gate coming, so he knows his micro is going to have to be pretty pristine. And LML does, as I said, will find his opponent on the first go. And Zolt's going to chase around the probe for a bit. Meanwhile, LML went 2 gates really fast, but actually didn't build out Zealot very quickly. If he hadn't built that gate, he could have started that Zealot sooner, the Zealot from this gate sooner, and then probably gotten 2 Zealots out at the same time that these 2 gates are going to get 2 Zealots out. And he's going for a core, too. I think that LML's build might need to be optimized a little bit better. But anyway, he's gonna stop the probe from escaping with the Zealots. So the probe will eventually die once the goons come out. Well, by going with this build, he did get the gas faster, so he can get a. He got the gas faster relative to the core timing, so he's able to get his range up faster. Degen is not getting his range. Actually, I think Degen, the issue is that Degen only had one guy on gas for a while because he was afraid of the 2-gate. But now he's seeing that it's not really a lot of aggression from a 2-gate. Well, 33 supply compared to 30. So in fact, LML does have more supply. 33 to 34. Oh, it's a difference of 2 supply. I'm not exactly sure how that works out, because he built his second gate way faster, so theoretically he should be behind in money. LML's build confuses me. Maybe it's just like Super Gosu. I feel like an idiot because it's not that complicated of a build. Anyway, hey, ignore it for now. Degen decided to throw down more gateways instead of going for the fast expo. It looks like LML is going to go for the expo instead. LML's mining a lot of gas, though. Either he's planning on going for something really gas heavy in the near future, or he probably shouldn't have. He should have pulled some guys off at gas at some point. But looks like Dejem's going to go for the attack now. Even numbers with one probe for LML. Now LML has an extra goon as well, so he should be able to win this battle pretty easily. But he's not actually microing his goons away from the zealots. So he traded 2 goons for 2 zealots, and now Dejem's goons can micro against zealots. Let's see how good his micro is. It's 4/4 with 1 zealot as a tiebreaker. Okay. Now another goon comes in for Dejem, so it's 4/4 with a zealot as a tiebreaker. Going for 4-gate. I think Dejem's just going to try to end the game here. He's just going to go 4-gate mass goon. Off of 1 base. He isn't saving up money to expand. He just wants to, is Alamo going for tech? No, he's throwing on a 3rd gateway of his own. He does need the 3rd gateway because he can't compete 4-2. But if he was to go and get a Dark Templar or 2 with all that extra gas, he might be able to win the game outright. Anyway, Dejem really needs to start getting more units. I'm not sure why his Dragoon count is not... Okay, his Dragoon count starting to get there. It's like, what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 versus 8. 9 versus 7. So, yeah, Dejem needs to win with this attack right here. He's pretty much all in off of 4 bases. Those Dragoons are already injured, so they're going to die really quickly. That Dragoon's actually not getting into the fight. So some pretty bad unit control from Dejem, and LML takes that decisively despite having less units. More units coming in from Dejem though, so it looks like he's going to be able to turn this around. It's going to be close. Tries to micro that away, but too late with it. And I don't know, it's pretty even. Now he's starting to micro away injured goons. And Dejem's going to kill off the last goon, or not quite. It's going to pull away with 1 shot left. And now it's 4 versus 1, 4 versus nothing. Where are LML's goons? Oh, they're still a little ways away from coming out. And he's going to be able to pick off probes? No, he's not going to go for probe. Well, he's going to kind of go for probes. He can't decide what he wants to go for. But actually, LML's in some trouble right now because he finally lost the war of attrition with the goons. And now Dejem's going to be able to add to his forces, and LML's not going to be able to have a snowball effect with his goons. So he really needs to get some effective drone drills here, otherwise this 4-gate all-in is going to work. And he's going to, he's going to lose all of his drones, all of his probes. You need to keep them there so that they could theoretically get a drill, because that's the one way he's going to be able to win. But because he pulled them back, he's not going to be able to drill. Dejem's continuing to rally in lots and lots of goons. Off of these 4 gates. Looks like maybe now he's going to try to expand. He might be trying to go for an expansion behind this, but he might not need to. He has a lot of goons compared to only 2 for LML on the ramp. 1 for LML on the ramp. 1 back here. He's continuing to try to build them out. He went for a Reaver instead of DTs. And that's going to be GG from LML. He couldn't deal with the 4 gate. And Dejem takes it 4-2. Congratulations to Team Reps for winning their Gambit Cup match this week. Gambit Cup is sponsored by Twitch TV, Prowler, and Nervopolis. Thank you guys for sponsoring. And I believe Sale is still casting his games. He should be, because he had 2, and I only had 1, so it'd be weird if he finished first. But thank you guys for watching. I should have VODs up. I actually have a recording now, so I will work to see if I can overcome my technological illiteracies, figure out how to upload VODs. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Nation Wars, or Sunday for Nation Wars and Gambit Cup. Go SKT tonight! Yeah!